I was working on an oil rig 300 meters from the coastline when the satellite phone rang loudly. It was 3:15 a.m. The ocean was completely still, like black glass in the wind had entirely disappeared. Mr. Hale, the voice said. This is Detective Reynolds from the Houston Police Department. Your son has been discovered unconscious in a public parking lot. My breath hitched before my body could react. In the background, I could clearly hear the steady clinical detached beeping of hospital machines. Then Detective Reynolds' tone suddenly shifted. Your ex-wife's husband did this. Witnesses say he was brazenly boasting about the act. Something deep in my chest went absolutely still. I did not speak, did not curse, did not even blink once. The call ended abruptly with static. My foreman saw the look on my face and immediately called for the company helicopter. They assumed I was heading to shore for a medical emergency. They had no idea what kind of emergency. They did not know the kind that awakens a primal instinct within. You the kind that smells of gasoline and ultimate silence. They also had no idea who I used to be, and I strongly preferred to keep it that way. The hospital reeked of bleach and deceit. My son's face was swollen, his lips badly split. A 14-year-old boy, he stirred slightly when I touched his hand. Mama said it was an accident, he whispered faintly. An accident, right? His mother Mary stood at the doorway, arms crossed. Her new husband, a puffed-up narcissist named Marcus with a smug grin, waited in the hallway. When our eyes finally met, he smiled like a man deliberately testing boundaries. Stay in your lane, he muttered dismissively as I passed. That night, I sat quietly beside my son's bed and listened to the rhythmic hum of the life support machine. The steady rhythm chillingly reminded me of the one I used to hear through headsets in another life. Steady breathing just before the kill. My ex-wife attempted to engage me in conversation. I did not listen. She had married him 2 years after our divorce, claiming he was stable, protective, better for our son. Now my boy flinched whenever the man entered the room. I did not sleep. I carefully memorized every bruise on his skin. Every mark that absolutely should not be there. Something within me fundamentally shifted that night. Not blind rage, not consuming grief, just focused precision. I began to observe them quietly. Every single school pickup, every weekend visitation, I noted his demanding tone, his dominant posture. The man clearly craved control, desired dominance disguised as fatherhood, the kind of abuse that leaves no evidence you can present in court. My ex-wife defended him relentlessly at every turn. He is genuinely trying, she insisted. You always twist things to suit yourself. Twist things right. So I stopped speaking entirely. I started collecting security footage from the parking lot, credit card statements, the detective's full report. He had been drunk, belligerent, boasting that the kid needed to finally learn respect. But what the report utterly failed to show was the pattern. Months of calculated manipulation, a slow erosion of fear. I tracked his entire digital footprint, old messages, deleted photographs. One folder stood out buried deep. It was not just physical violence. It was systematic surveillance. He had been recording my son logging, interactions, using them as emotional blackmail to control my ex. That is when I truly understood. He did not merely want power. He wanted complete ownership, and she had allowed him to take it. I moved with extreme care. Gathered every single file, every timestamp, and forwarded them to a secure drive under a code name I had not used since my time in Tel Aviv. The part of me that once hunted dangerous men was fully awake again. But this was not about simple vengeance. It was about restoring a moral balance. The final crucial piece arrived from a phone call, a voicemail, timestamped 2 weeks earlier. Her voice, my ex-wife whispering through tears, I cannot stop him. He claims he will ruin us both if I tell. He has the incriminating footage. Please, just stay away. She was not protecting him. She was purely terrified. I drove to their suburban house at dawn, parked directly outside, and watched him. Through the kitchen window, coffee mug, bare chest. A man wholly convinced the world bends to his will. He did not see me until I stepped silently inside. You should not be here, he said, his smirk still in place. Court orders. I set a thick folder down on the counter. The recordings, the secret photos, his personal messages. Every single piece of damning proof laid completely bare like open veins. He flipped through them, his face instantly draining of all color. Then he looked at me, eyes half fury, half crippling fear. You honestly think this proves anything, he whispered. I did not speak. I simply slid a USB drive toward him. It is already with the police, I said softly, and a copy went directly to Child Protective Services. His jaw began to twitch uncontrollably. For the very first time, he looked small and completely insignificant. He lunged forward, finger raised, face bright red. "You think you can ruin me?" I stepped closer, my voice flat and devoid of emotion. "No, you did that all by yourself." He froze completely. Something in my eyes must have communicated what I did not need to say, that I had already hunted his kind to ground. Before, in other countries with far less mercy, he slowly backed away. I took one final comprehensive look around that house, the life they had, built on manipulation and silence, and turned to leave. Behind me, I heard him mutter, "You will regret this." I paused at the door. "No," I said quietly. "You will. Every single day you wake up, and remember that I allowed you to live." The custody hearing took exactly 6 hours. He never bothered to show up. Detective Reynolds called later that day. Anonymous evidence packet landed on my desk. Clean work. I did not answer his call. I just listened to the steady rhythm of the waves outside my new apartment. The sea again constant and profoundly indifferent. My son sleeps soundly in the next room now. No machines, no palpable fear, just steady, peaceful breathing. Sometimes I replay that night. On the oil rig, the call, the deep silence that followed, and I realized something brutally honest. The vast distance between father and protector is measured, not in love, but in absolute restraint. I did not kill him. I simply took away everything that made him matter, and somehow that felt colder, cleaner, and definitively final.